2019 was a fantastic year for video games.
Thank you! Kindly!
But oh boy, is 2020 going to be absolutely nuts. I've had to extend my list to 15 just to fit in all my most anticipated games, and most of those are coming out in the first half of the year. Come Q3 and Q4 of 2020, and we'll be talking launch titles for the PS5 and Xbox Series X. My list also doesn't feature definite number ones like Overwatch 2 and whatever Rocksteady's working on, because I think they're either coming out in 2021 or I just don't have a clue what the game is yet. Honorable mentions. '15. A Fold Apart. A Fold Apart has been quietly stewing on the indie scene for a while, and it looks like we'll hopefully get our grubby paws on it this year. A Fold Apart tells the story of a couple in a long-distance relationship where you aim to make sure love endures by continually bringing the couple together through the use of folding paper. 14. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. The original Hellblade was a hectic, emotional, and psychologically heavy journey. The sound design and performances were brilliant, and my brain just crumbles when imagining how mental and visually stunning Hellblade 2 will be on next-gen tech. 13. Resident Evil 3 Remake. If there was any indicator of how crazy 2020 will be in gaming, it is that Resident Evil 3 Remake is only 13th on my list. In December, I mustered the courage to finally play RE2 Remake, and it was very well made. RE3 does appeal to me more though, with Jill as the protagonist, the wider expanses of Raccoon City to explore, and a dodge button. So in theory, I should really enjoy this one. Stars! Moving on swiftly. 12. Marvel's Avengers. I really like Crystal Dynamics' work, so I'm excited to see how they tackle the Avengers and the story they tell with them. Having Kamala Khan play a prominent role is really exciting, and the voice cast is truly epic. 11. Watch Dogs Legion. Whenever I think back to the original Watch Dogs, I always think about how terrible the protagonist Aiden Pierce is. But then we got Marcus in Watch Dogs 2, who was a breath of fresh air. In Legion, however, we're not getting a protagonist at all. Instead, every NPC in this version of London is recruitable. The idea is mind-boggling, but also so fascinating to see how it'll pan out. I love London as a city, I wish more games were set there, but we're going to have to wait and see how they tell a coherent story when there is no protagonist and everyone's out there forming their little militia of gangster grannies. 10. The Wolf Among Us 2. I love The Wolf Among Us. The way it represents the characters from Fables is so interesting, and Bigby is a brilliant protagonist. As fans, we called for many years for a continuation after such a striking cliffhanger. There was jubilation when we saw that Telltale were working on it, and then subsequent sadness following Telltale's shutdown. But now there's excitement again since LCG Entertainment has revived the project, and I'm just really hoping that the original vision hasn't got lost as a result. 9. Ghost of Tsushima. I wasn't that excited for Ghost until I played Sekiro, and now I just want more sword clashing action. Give me all the sword clashing action. And let's just appreciate the wind in this video game for a few moments. Jenny LeClue Detective. Now, this was on my 2019 list, and it is already out on Steam and Apple Arcade, but I'm looking forward to chilling and playing it on my console. This game has so much charm, and I can't wait to solve crimes with the spunky new detective on the block. 7. Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5 is one of those games that intimidates me because it is so huge. And Royal is just adding more content to it, so that's helping out on that front. And you know, it's great that this massive game is releasing in such a packed year. I swear I'll get around to it sometime soon. 6. Tales of Arise. The second of 3 JRPGs on my list. 2020 is the year of the Japanese role-playing game, which is terrifying because they're huge. I've never played a Tales game, but this one looks really cool, and for whatever reason, I think about it every few days. I just really want to play it. 5. Cyberpunk 2077. On the 16th of April 2020, all eyes will be on CD Projekt Red's ginormous new RPG, the long-awaited Cyberpunk 2077. Featuring a ridiculous level of player choice, a bustling, dense, futuristic world to explore, and a host of interesting characters to interact with, Cyberpunk looks like the game that will usher in the next generation of role-playing depth in video games. And I can't wait to see how exceptional it is and how it will inspire future RPGs in the coming decade. Also Keanu Reeves. 4. Dying Light 2. Another sequel to a game I never played. The hook of the original Dying Light was zombies, and I just wasn't into that. The introduction of Dying Light 2, however, shone a light on a very different aspect: player choice and narrative repercussions. The zombies are still a prominent part, but the narrative hooks of Dying Light 2 have really gotten my attention. Enough for me to be looking forward to this game more so than Cyberpunk, and while at times the first-person parkour looks almost disconcerting, there's nothing I love more in a video game than fun, dynamic traversal. 3. Dreams. My most anticipated game of 2019 finds itself third on my 2020 list. I was fortunate to be a part of the beta at the start of 2019, and even over that short period it was clear that Dreams was something special. As a South African, I didn't qualify for early access, so I've spent the past year patiently watching from afar as people discovered the joys of this wonderful piece of software and began to design some truly amazing creations with Media Molecule's toolset. And yes, Brian, I've been suppressing my hype for a Dreams hype, baby. 2. Final Fantasy VII Remake. For the past few years, I've been in that horribly cynical group that thought this game would take forever to complete. And, I mean, we are only just getting part 1. But something happened this year as all the trailers began to drop. And now I sit here looking at this footage, looking at the screenshots, thinking, this might be one of the coolest video games ever made. And it looks like the developers were having an absolute blast while making it. It just reeks of style and passion, and I just can't wait to get completely lost in it. 1. The Last of Us, Part 2. I'm struggling to rein in my thoughts on The Last of Us Part 2. I'm so looking forward to seeing how we deal with the theme of hate instead of love this time around, and how we continue Ellie and Joel's story. Now, hold up. Everyone and their mother was speculating Joel's death early on in this game, and I still don't believe that. Ellie and Joel are the heart and soul of The Last of Us, so get those thoughts out of here. I recently replayed Uncharted 4, one of my favorite games of all time, and it's crazy to see how Naughty Dog, one of the best developers in the world, keep refining how their games play and how beautiful their games are. In The Last of Us Part 2, Ellie now has a dodge, she can go prone, she can squeeze through tight gaps, and she has a ton of circumstantial animations. The enemies have also been refined. Now the grunts actually have names and relationships with one another. The enemy AI has been improved. They now also have dogs to track Ellie's scent, which forces you to constantly move during stealth scenarios. I'm just so ready to spend many more hours with Ellie and Joel once more.
You think I'd let you do this on your own?
And there you have it, my 15 most anticipated games of 2020. Please also check out my 10 most anticipated movies of 2020 video. Let me know what you're looking forward to in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. And if you never hear from me again, it's probably because I got lost in dreams while dream surfing.